Hey everyone, let's talk about something we all do, but most of us are terrible at sleeping. 1 in 3 adults globally doesn't get enough quality sleep. And it's not just about feeling tired. We're talking about increased risk of heart disease, diabetes, depression, and even dementia. The World Health Organization now classifies sleep deprivation as a global health epidemic. So today, I'm going to walk you through 4 habits that have been proven through rigorous, scientific research to actually transform your sleep, not just make it a tiny bit better, but genuinely change the quality of your rest. We're diving into the actual biology here, the mechanisms that govern sleep, and what you can do, starting tonight, to work with your body instead of against it. Habit number 1, master your light exposure. Let's start with something that sounds simple, but is probably the most powerful tool you have for better sleep. Controlling your light exposure throughout the day. I'm not just talking about dimming the lights before bed. I'm talking about a strategic approach to light that works with your biology. Here's what's happening inside your brain. You have this tiny cluster of cells called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, about the size of a grain of rice sitting right behind your eyes. This is your master clock, and it's incredibly sensitive to light. When light hits your eyes, particularly blue wavelengths, it signals, hey, it's daytime, be awake. When it's dark, it signals your pineal gland to release melatonin, the hormone that makes you sleepy. The problem is, we've completely destroyed this natural rhythm. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that the average person is exposed to 10 times less natural light during the day, and 10 times more artificial light at night compared to 50 years ago. We're literally doing the opposite of what our biology needs. Researchers at Northwestern University tracked over 500 people and found that those who got bright light exposure in the morning, within an hour of waking up, fell asleep on average 37 minutes faster at night. Their sleep quality scores improved by 23%. Why? Because morning light sets the timer for when you'll feel sleepy later. You're programming your internal clock. So here's what you need to do. First thing in the morning, get outside for at least 15 minutes. If you live somewhere with limited sunlight, get near a window. The key is natural light within the first hour of waking. Then, as evening approaches, start dimming your lights. Around 3 hours before bed, switch to warmer, dimmer lights, and minimize screen time in the last 2 hours before sleep. Harvard Medical School researchers found that just 2 hours of iPad use before bed suppressed melatonin by 22% and delayed the natural sleep rhythm by 3 hours. That's why you're lying in bed wide awake at midnight, even though you're exhausted. If you must use devices, wear blue light blocking glasses. The University of Houston showed that wearing these for 3 hours before bed increased melatonin production by 58%. Habit number 2, time your eating window. Now let's talk about food, because when you eat is just as important as what you eat when it comes to sleep. Your digestive system has its own circadian rhythm, and when you ignore it, your sleep suffers dramatically. When you eat, especially heavy meals, your body diverts blood flow to your digestive system. Your core body temperature rises because digestion generates heat. Your nervous system becomes more active. All of these are the exact opposite of what needs to happen for sleep. The Salk Institute tracked the eating patterns of over 2,000 people, those who ate within a consistent 8 to 10 hour window, and stopped eating at least 3 hours before bed, had significantly better sleep quality. We're talking about a 35% improvement in sleep onset time, and a 42% reduction in nighttime awakenings. The University of Pennsylvania found that eating late at night, particularly high-fat or high-carbohydrate meals, suppressed circadian rhythms. Participants who ate their last meal at least 3 hours before bed showed stronger circadian rhythms and spent 27% more time in deeper sleep, the most restorative stage. Here's what surprised researchers. It's not just about feeling full or having heartburn. When you eat, it signals your body that it should be in a fed, active state. Your insulin rises, your cortisol can spike, your body temperature increases. These are all wake-promoting signals. By eating late, you're sending your body mixed messages. It's time to sleep, but also time to be metabolically active. So try to eat your meals within a consistent window each day, ideally finishing dinner at least 3 hours before you plan to sleep. If you must have something before bed, make it light and easily digestible. Maybe a small portion of complex carbs like oats or a banana, but the best approach is to let your digestive system rest as your body prepares for sleep. Habit number 3, create the perfect sleep environment. Let's talk about your bedroom, because the most important factor here is temperature. As you prepare to sleep, your body needs to drop its core temperature by about 1 to 2 degrees Celsius. This temperature drop is actually a trigger for sleep. It's a biological requirement. Researchers at the Netherlands Institute for Neuroscience found that the optimal room temperature for sleep is between 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 15 to 19 degrees Celsius. When participants slept in rooms within this range, they spent 47 minutes longer in deep sleep compared to warmer rooms. That's almost an entire sleep cycle of additional restorative sleep. Just from adjusting the temperature, the University of Texas studied bedding and sleepwear and found that breathable, natural materials significantly improved sleep quality. Participants using breathable bedding had 23% fewer sleep disruptions. Why? Because as you sleep, you sweat as part of your body's temperature regulation. If that moisture can't escape, you get clammy and uncomfortable. Here's another factor: darkness. Complete darkness. Your skin has photoreceptors, not just your eyes. Even small amounts of light can suppress melatonin production. A study in the American Journal of Epidemiology found that people sleeping in rooms with even dim light exposure had a 39% higher risk of obesity and metabolic issues, because that light was disrupting their sleep quality. So keep your bedroom cool, ideally between 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Use a fan for air circulation, or take a lukewarm shower before bed to cool your core. Invest in blackout curtains or a sleep mask to eliminate all light. Remove any LED lights from devices, and choose breathable, natural fiber bedding like cotton or bamboo. Habit number 4, establish a consistent sleep schedule. Here's the habit that seems boring, but is genuinely transformative: going to bed and waking up at the same time every single day. Yes, including weekends. The science on this is absolutely compelling. Your body doesn't just have one clock, it has trillions. Every cell in your body has its own circadian mechanism, synchronized by your master clock. When you keep a consistent sleep schedule, these clocks work in harmony. When you constantly change your sleep times, you create internal chaos. Duke University tracked over 2,000 participants for a month. People with irregular sleep schedules, even if they got 7 to 8 hours of sleep, had metabolic profiles similar to people who only slept 5 hours regularly. Their glucose regulation was impaired, their cortisol rhythms were disrupted, and they showed markers of chronic inflammation just from inconsistent sleep timing. A Harvard study found that every hour of variation in sleep timing increased the risk of cardiovascular disease by 11%. That's independent of sleep duration, so you could be sleeping 8 hours every night. But if your timing varies wildly, your body experiences constant circadian disruption. And let's talk about weekends. Sleeping in on Saturday and Sunday, trying to catch up. Scientists call this social jet lag. The University of Pittsburgh found that people with more than 2 hours of difference between their weekday and weekend sleep schedules had significantly worse metabolic health, lower academic performance, and higher rates of depression. For every hour of social jet lag, there was an 11% increase in risk of heart disease. Consistency also makes falling asleep and waking up easier. When you go to bed at the same time every night, your body starts preparing for sleep in advance. After about 2 weeks of consistency, most people find they don't even need an alarm anymore. Pick a bedtime and wake time that allows for 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Stick to it every single day. Set alarms if needed. And if you need to shift your schedule, do it gradually, moving it by 15 to 30 minutes every few days. So there you have it. Master your light exposure by getting bright light in the morning and minimizing it at night. Time your eating window to finish meals at least 3 hours before bed. Create the perfect sleep environment with cool temperatures and complete darkness, and establish a consistent sleep schedule. Don't try to implement all of these at once. Pick one, maybe starting with light exposure, since that's the easiest, and really commit to it for 2 weeks. Once that becomes automatic, add another habit. Building sustainable change happens incrementally. Your sleep matters. It's not lazy, it's not a luxury, it's a biological necessity. So tonight, try one of these habits. Your future self will thank you. Sleep well, everyone!